Tyneside in the north of England, 54,000 runners are assembled for what is without question the world's biggest half marathon. It's the Bupa Great North Run. Well, ahead of the athletes, a course which is challenging without question. Goes down towards the Big Tyne Bridge, then Gateshead Stadium, and out slowly but surely towards South Shields. It's undulating, it's difficult, it's rhythm sapping. It's a very challenging course. We'll see who prevails. The first of the races now about to get underway. The wheelchairs, Josh Cassidy and Mickey Bushnell and all the rest, the men and women together. Shelley Woods of Great Britain is there. And of course, just to let you know, the course record for the men is 41 minutes 34. David Weir will not be here to defend a title, and I would think that Josh Cassidy, the Canadian, will be a very difficult man to beat, and it'll be between Shelley Woods and Amanda McGrory, the Briton and the American, to see who prevails here. But they're underway. The course itself is very, very challenging indeed. The first part of the course, for the first mile and a bit, is downhill, and you can see the sort of speeds that they will get up to on this course. They are absolutely motoring. They start both races together, but of course there are two separate races here, and already the principals are really moving out very, very quickly indeed. And Josh Cassidy, there's Aaron Anderson of Sweden, Richard Coleman of Australia as well. But look how they're spread out so quickly, and look how downhill that is in the early part of the course as they will approach Tyne Bridge. The Tyne Bridge comes just before 2 miles, and then they've got a slight uphill, and then between 4 and 5 miles it is uphill. Not a significant uphill, but it is uphill.
It's an incredibly tough course in many respects because you can never really relax. You're either pounding downhill on a downslope or you're working on an upslope, and there isn't a great deal of flat to be enjoyed.
But it's not just about the elite athletes though. The masses, raising millions and millions of pounds for charities, are moving very, very slowly towards the start. But the elite women, well, they're ready to go. Adiri, the first to be introduced. She is the defending champion. She's got a best this season of 75.08, but always a threat. But Jo Pavey, really looking forward to this. She's been injured, she didn't compete in the World Championships, and I had a chat with her at the airport, and she says she feels good, in good form, wants to really run well here. And certainly Maria Malchi, another injury-prone athlete, really. It's her first run of the season, we're told, and we'll give you a few statistics about her later on. Well, look at this. Helen Clithero, the British steeplechase record holder, but really in the World Championships made the final of the 5,000 and found that pretty tough, but she did make the final.
From Kenya, Irene Jeritic.
Jeritic there, that's Irene Jeritic, the Commonwealth 10,000 metre champion, and she is a marathon champion, I should say, not 10,000 metres. You can see that on the caption there. And well, I was very, very impressed a couple of seasons ago by Jessica Augusto when she won that race. She won it very convincingly too. And while she is the European cross-country champion, in this Great North Run, she was very, very impressive indeed. So, underway, 13.1 miles. And the elite field heading out now down the slight decline, and they will approach the Tyne Bridge. You can see they're going reasonably steady here early on, and that's not a bad tactic indeed. They won't want to rush away. It's very deceptive. There are 22 starters, and we shall soon see them spread out though a little bit. Jo Pavey just edging ahead. Augusto there at the front of that group, and you can see already one or two of the athletes beginning to drop off the back of that. There is a difference in the standard between the very elite and those who have made it to the elite group, but who will find life very difficult indeed.
Augusto there in the long black socks. She did have a tremendous run a couple of years ago. Wasn't able to defend her title last year, but when she's on song, Augusto, she's hard to beat. Adele, a bit of a phenomenon actually there, the tall figure to the right of picture in the blue shorts. She is, as you said, the defending champion, 38 years old now, hasn't raced since May, so several athletes coming to this race pretty fresh, I suspect.
Augusto in the middle of that group. There's Freya Murray, the Scot, the green top. Freya Murray, who's competed in quite a few of the great runs over the years.
I'm interested to see Freya Murray and how she gets on here today, Stuart. She's a really good cross-country runner. These days, Freya is coached by Steve Jones, the British record holder in the marathon, based in Boulder, and very, very knowledgeable is Steve. And this is her debut, and I don't think he'll have let her expose herself to a race of this standard without being ready for it. So look for something quite special from Freya Murray today in the green there. As I expected, Jo to the front there in that pitter-patter style of her. Her feet seem to sort of almost kiss the ground rather than really pound along. She's up on her toes, of course, a great, great track runner in her time as Jo, whereas Mara there in the background in the dark glass is third to right. Much more of a road runner, has no track pedigree at all, but the second quickest marathon runner behind Paula Radcliffe that Britain's ever produced.
Now look at this, the pre-race exercise going on for the masses here, all running for charities. There's millions and millions of pounds being raised over the years. They will compete, but it'll be some time before they get away. Well, an early appearance now of the famous Red Arrows. A moment, though, to honour the loss of pilot Flight Lieutenant John Egging. His wife is here to start the race. What a moment for her.
Well, the elite men about to get underway. The London Marathon winner this year, there he is, Emmanuel Mutai of Kenya. He has a best of 60.03. That was in Lisbon in March last year, and that's certainly due for revision from a man who ran 2:04 to win the London Marathon this year. He certainly starts as favourite. He's only had 2 races this year, so he comes to this race fresh and strong.
Emmanuel Mutai. Wearing race number 3, the 2008 Olympic Marathon silver medalist.
So this elite field being introduced to the crowd. Mutai, the favourite, the London champion, alongside Jawd Garib, twice world champion in the marathon, the Moroccan. 39 years old now, this self-coached star. And he's only had the 1 race this year so far. That was 6th in London back in April behind Mutai. There's Kelly, John Kelly, the Commonwealth champion last year. Big half marathon personal best due from him. He's only run 62.45, and that was 5 years ago. So look for Kelly to go very quickly here today. The rest of this elite field move forward. Look out too for Mika Kogo, former world record holder at 10,000 metres on the road.
This is quite something, a moving moment for Dr. Emma Egging. Along with Mo Farah, starts the race, and the men's race, and the masses following. It's all underway.
Mo Farah was going to end up with a very sore hand, sore fingers as well, and he hasn't got a glove on. I rather suspect he'll wish he will have done.
Well, let's get back to the women's race now.
Lucy Kapoor, who is one of the lesser known lights out in front at the moment with the ponytail, pushing the pace along. She won the Commonwealth Games back in 2006 at 10,000 metres. But her personal best for this distance, Stu, goes back to 2004, 69.47. Though she's still only 27 years old, so she ran under 70 minutes when she was 20 years old. Is she back to something like her best?
Well, it looks as though she might be. I mean, she's taken this on, isn't she?
Well, it looks like the elite men coming down towards the Tyne Bridge.
They're approaching the 2 miles. Of course, this is beginning to break up very early, isn't it?
Well, it is. There's 8 men there. Got away incredibly early. Good crowds on the bridge, as always. Mayo, Mutai, Batati, Kenyans dominating at the moment.
Well, meanwhile, back at the start, look at this. Still many thousands of fundraisers that have yet to approach the start line to get underway. Some will be there for a long, long time.
There's Mo Farah. He's a delightful lad. Smiles all the time, almost irrespective of the circumstances, and it's a wonderful job he's doing.
Well, let's get back to the men's race now. All the principals are there. And Mathathi, we haven't mentioned him on the left of the shot in the black strip, the world bronze medalist at 10,000 metres back in 2007. He was fifth actually in the World Championships in Daegu in the 10,000, just ahead of Mayo there, and Mutai, who was the favourite in a sense, winning the London Marathon this year in fine style. I mean, when you've run the marathon in 2:4:40, then you know you're a class athlete. And Kogo, we've mentioned him before, had that world best over the 10 kilometres until it was beaten by Coman, when Coman took his 27:01 to 26:44. That was in September last year. So you know that you've got such talent in different ways. And Harib is still there. He was third last year on the back of that group. Well, this race is clearly yet to unfold. I just wonder who will take it on.